All right, guys, welcome back, and we are starting. Okay, guys. So before the class, like we try to learn what is privity of the contract, and I think we try to unveil almost all the possibilities. How does it go? And now we are moving towards other important concept, and the concept goes like this: assume my student, uh, Mr. Deepak. He was walking on the road, and suddenly what he finds that on side of the road, one temple was getting constructed. One temple is getting constructed. He went to the people and asked that whose temple is getting constructed. He said, Lord Krishna. And he is one of the devotees of Lord Krishna. He said, wow, Krishna's temple is getting constructed nearby my home. He promised to trustees of that trust that I promise to give you 5 lakhs donations. Come after 2 days to my home and collect the check. After 2 or 3 days, those trustees went and demanded that Mr. Deepak, we are here to collect what you promised. And then Deepak says, sorry, I have changed my decision. So earlier he had a plan to pay, but now his plan what? Changed. Trustee says, you can't do like this. You can't do like this. You already promised. We had a hope. And once you have promised us, now you cannot turn back. He won this 5 lakhs. He denied. Trustees of the temple files case on Deepak. Explain whether Deepak is under any legal obligation to pay those 5 lakhs. Think on it. Got the point? Sorry, there are some calls I cannot avoid. I had to. So I will tell them the important call हुआ. So I think I need to respond. I'm sorry for the disturbance. So have you got the question now? But इस situation में क्या होगा? आपको क्या लगता है? You promised कि 5 लाख दूंगा. And when they came to take you denies, what happens? Explain the logics according to the Indian Contract Act 1872. Do you need to pay or you don't need to pay? Come on guys, don't give me excuse he has to pay. Why? भगवान पाप चाहेगा. भाई वो बात नहीं. Tell me. But Veda got the point. Please try to understand. If you read the section 10, it clearly says one of the important conditions is there should have lawful consideration. क्या होना चाहिए? Lawful consideration. And before decide whether it is lawful or unlawful, there should have consideration first. Deepak promised to trustees that I will pay 5 lakhs, but what trustees in return promised? Blessings of God. Blessings of God is something, guys, which is not recognized by the law. Do you agree with me? उसके लिए कोई कमिट थोड़ा करना है, वो तो वैसे ही आएगा. अरे हाँ ना. So he Deepak has promised something, but trustees have not promised in return. And when guys you are not getting something in return, it's absence of consideration. And if it is absence of consideration, guys, this entire promise becomes void. Now this is just a void agreement. Void from the day one, void ab initio. Do you get my point? Void ab initio. So what principle out of this example we try to learn, guys? If you are doing something for someone, but in return if you are not getting anything, in return if you are not getting anything, then my dear students, that contract is not a contract at all. It's just the agreement which is void ab initio. So here the principle what we try to learn, that no consideration means no contract. No consideration means no contract. No consideration, no contract. Am I clear? Am I clear? Am I clear? All right, my dear students, but this rule has a certain exceptions to learn. Now we are going to learn the section 25 a little bit. Section 25. No consideration, no contract. No consideration, no contract. No contract. Law of succession. Oh, law of succession नहीं करवाया मैंने. You didn't finish it. You said that after the break. After this topic. अभी रखना law of succession is a part of your Indian contract. तो वो हम करोगे. चलो law of succession पढ़ लेना पहले. वो अभी एक्स्ट्रा जो नहीं आया. वो लोग नहीं आया. ठीक है. तो आइए लॉ ऑफ सक्सेशन पढ़ लेते हैं बच्चा. इट्स वन ऑफ द इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक्स गाइस. आई विल डिस्कस दिस पार्ट. पहले वो पार्ट पढ़ लेते हैं. आर यू फाइन विद दिस? ये लंबा है बेटा. अभी 2 घंटे आराम से खत्म. वो थोड़ा छोटा टॉपिक है, उसको खत्म कर लेते हैं. ठीक है. रेडी? यस यस. विद योर परमिशन कैन आई? So the first exception was family settlement and second फैमिली सेटलमेंट था और उसमें फैमिली का भी डेफिनेशन बताना था. उसमें लॉ ऑफ सक्सेशन आ रहा है. रिमेनिंग यू लर्न ऑन योर ओन. आई विल गोइंग टू टेल अबाउट इट. Assume there's a person whose father died. Whose father died. He was very unhappy, sad, and all that, you know. But suddenly his lawyer says that don't worry, my child. Your father has left 5,000 crores for you. Suddenly the sad moment turns to the happy moment for him. But a 5,000 CR and nobody to ask, how is the situation? 5,000 crores. After that funeral, he was just like dancing because 5,000 crores. But suddenly, my dear students, bank officers appears and gives him the notice that why are you dancing? He said 5,000 crores. He said, okay, fine, take this notice. Whose notice में क्या था? Your father left 10,000 crores rupees debt for you. So 5,000 crores property, बैंक ने क्या छोड़ा? 10,000 crores debt. So overall, what your father left for you? 5,000 crores debt. According to the law of succession, according to the law of succession, look, this question they are asking again and again in exam. Succession versus assignment law. क्या पूछते हो लोग? Succession versus assignment for 5-6 marks in your exam and you need to be ready for that. So by succession समझ लीजिए. Succession is such a process where asset plus liability passes on from deceased to legal heir or successor. Please mind well only assets as well as liability both are getting passed on. Not only asset, not only liability, both are getting passed on. So whosoever is the successor, let's say father he died, whosoever is the successor can enjoy assets as well as he has to bear the liabilities also. According to the law of succession. So by applying those principles, this person is liable to pay those. Look, as far as the 5,000 rupees assets are concerned, bank will capture that. But what about the remaining 5,000 crores, my dear students? Whether that legal heir is liable for that or not? What do you think? His father left him with 5,000 rupees additional liability over and above the assets. Whether that boy was a legal heir or successor, liable or not liable? Liable or not liable? But guys, try to understand. Of course you have to pay because what law of succession says? Once the person dies, what gets inherited? Assets as well as liabilities both. So guys, आपको 10,000 crores pay करने हैं. Just imagine guys, after being the chartered accountant, you got a call letter from one of the top companies Google that your per annum salary is 50 crores. फिर भी आप गरीब हैं. जो जितना कमा है वो तो बैंक में भी चाहिए. Law of is it justice? क्या ये न्याय है? आपकी बीवी पर बच्चे भूखे और आप सारा पैसा किसको दे रहे हो? बैंक को. अभी आप समझेंगे बच्चा. How much debt was there? Out of that, how much already recovered? How much is not recovered? Just apply 10% interest बेटा. आपका सिर्फ interest ही 500 crores. That means your generation, his generation, his generation, his generation, that this is impossible to wipe out. Because whatever is out, take it. Makes sense. As the situation of this country, do you accept this kind of justice? क्या मजाक कर रहे हो? Britishers in 1872 identified this problem in Indian culture, Indian society. I don't know whether you people have ever understood about the bonded labor concept. Bonded labor मतलब बंधुआ मजदूर बोलते हैं उसको हिंदी में. Father took the loan from that rich guy and secured the land, couldn't repay, and died. That rich person captured the land because it was secured. And now he makes that father assume, the father as well as his children, to work in their own farm to collect just the interest component. And generation to generation, the entire generation got stuck in that legal trap called the interest. क्या ये interest trap समझ में आया आप लोगों को? I like one of the quotes of Quran Sharif, guys. अगर कोई मुस्लिम है तो पता होगा. But in Islam, interest haram माना जाता है. Reason यही है कि once interest trap started, it's very difficult to come out of it. But Britishers in 1872 realized and they introduced the concept of law of succession in the Indian content. So now, please let me tell you guys the real statement of law of succession. As soon as the person dies, his legal heirs, that means the legal successor, is entitled to get assets as well as but liability cannot exceed the amount of assets inherited. So the amount of liability cannot exceed than the value of the assets what you inherited. So please try to understand, guys, what is the total value what you inherited? 5,000 crores. Are bolo. So maximum liability of this guy cannot exceed 5,000 crores. Answer to this question is you are not liable for remaining 5,000. After then who will pay? But don't you think like so that if you have 5,000 crores assets and 10,000 crores liability, at the end of the day it's insolvency? Yes. और इंश्योरेंस में बेटा डेफिशिएंसी कौन चाइल्ड पे करता है, किड पे करता है, या वो बैड डेट मानी जाती है. Guys, from the bank, this whole remaining 5,000 is nothing but my dear students, please try to understand your personal or income would be touched. Let me tell you one situation here. Your private property is 1,000 crores. You got inherited with 5,000. So what is your total property now? 6,000. And the total debt over here is 10,000, which belongs to the father. So you're liable for how much? 5,000 or whole 6,000? 5,000. Now please mark the words and the statements what written in the law of succession. That successor is liable only to the extent of assets inherited, not even a single penny. So out of the 6,000, how much was inherited assets? 5,000. But you are not liable more than 5,000 crores. In nutshell, guys, what I am trying to say, we are not liable to bear the fruits of somebody else's sin stones. क्षमा करना पड़ा या तो सही, अगर पापा ने पाप किए हैं तो वो भुगतन मेरे को भुगतनी चाहिए. So every single individual is liable for his own liability. Nobody can be imposed to somebody else's liability. I hope no matter you are in a relation like your father, son, or mother, daughter, whatever, आप liable नहीं हो सकते. यही न्याय माना है. This is called what? Simple. Tell me one thing. If my father has obtained the loan, land was secured. As soon as the land was captured by that man who landed it, fine, obligations are completed. How can you pressurize me that just because that father's loan is not paid, you have to continue paying? Does it make sense, guys? उनके कर्म उन्हें actually we Indians are very sentient because we believe in that rebirth theory. And we also believe that after the death our forefathers are hanged and stuck somewhere in the middle of this life and that life. Now, if you want to give a push to that, you have to complete the incomplete desires. And you won't believe in the past. I'm talking to you about the history of the last 1,000 years. Those rich people, they literally exploited the lower level, making that तुम्हारे पापा की इच्छा थी. If you won't pay the father's debt, the father will go to the jail, not jail, sorry, hell. By manipulating the concepts like this, they were forced to pay, guys. But legally, I want to tell you, they are not. Guys, I want to tell you today in the open class, you are not liable for your father's debt. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Am I clear? Yes, if you want to pay voluntarily, वो अलग बात है, पर ध्यान रखो, अपने खुद के बीवी बच्चे भूखे हो, तो फिर ये कैसे आप करोगे?
So could we just say that after the father's death, could we say that all of his dues have been like discharged?
After extinguishing the assets, once the assets are taken by the creditors, and if there's a dispute, who will take what? The court will decide at the end. Once the assets are squared up, it is as good as like insolvency. So yes, everything is discharged. Legal heads are not liable more than what they have received. But am I clear to this? This concept in the law is known as the law of succession. Now, what is assignment here? Assignment is many times I have seen guys, the students are a bit confused here. In assignment, only rights are transferred, liabilities are not transferred. Now, please try to understand. But in succession, rights in the assets as well as obligations in the liability both are transferred. So today in this class, if I want to ask you a question, that tell me, in the assignment, what gets transferred? What should be answered? Only rights. I know what you are thinking, sir. I couldn't get this point. Assume I am in the United States of America, but I have a bungalow in Goa. Anybody from Goa? Okay. And I want to sell this. Come on, otherwise I cannot come to India by spending more than 5 lakhs rupees just as a flight tickets. Doesn't make sense. What do you suggest me as my consultant? Tell me. Don't you think I should hire one of my representative, like some good lawyer, some good broker, and I will transfer all my rights to sell. Listen to my words. I will transfer all my rights to sell the property to that person. And I will tell that whatever quotation you fixed, that will be fixation by me. Yes or no? So if he makes the contract as good as it would be considered as good as I have made the contract. So guys, from the United States of America, if hire some agent by assigning the power of attorney. Listen to my words. By assigning what? Power of attorney, so that he can deal with my property, he can sell it, he can receive the consideration. From that consideration, deduct your commission, remaining proceeds transferred to USA. In this entire situation, okay, these kinds of transfer of rights are legal or illegal in India? Can you transfer your rights to do something to somebody? Only one paper can enable that. That's nothing but power of attorney. Can you do that? I always demand some substantial, significant things. Always you go in writing and stamp it. Don't go orally. Don't go orally. Oral is allowed by the law, but I recommend don't go. So better you have the power of attorney. Better you should have what? Power of attorney. You must have that. So power of attorney, if I just assign my rights to do something in the property to you guys, this is called the assignment. This is called the assignment. बेटा क्या मेरी बात समझ में आ रही है आप लोगों को? तो असाइनमेंट में सिर्फ राइट्स ट्रांसफर होते हैं, लायबिलिटी नहीं. In USA, I have let's say $2 million debt. As being a broker, you are least bothered about because you just are given the right to sell the bungalow. Yes or no?
Yes.
Am I clear?
Yes.
However, both of these have the different rules. Let me tell you, for the succession, legal writing is not required. Legal writing is not required. But when agency transfer becomes assignment, guys, writing is compulsory. Mere agency, writing is not required. आप मेरी बात समझ रहे हो? But guys, agency means you become my agent with assignment concept. Power of attorney and writing is mandatory to get the legal recognition. क्या मेरी बात समझ में आ रही? In succession, liability doesn't get transferred. Sorry. In succession, liability gets transferred, but in assignment it doesn't get transferred. And many more examples and the differences are given, but basics are clear in everyone's mind. So again guys, this is the homework point today. You go to home and try to find the difference between succession and assignment. So assignment means nothing but power of attorney किसी को दे देना. तो आप सिर्फ right दे रहे हो, liability नहीं दे रहे हो.
Power of assignment can be done to the legal higher association.
Yeah, it can be. What if I have the bungalow in my name, but I tell my daughter, but I am giving my power of attorney to you. You sell because it is in your city. Fine. Sale by her. It is equal to sale by me. So later on, I cannot just step back from my own words. Power of attorney or assignment can be done to anyone, relatives, close relatives, friends, unknown. In fact, the solicitors, lawyers, advocates, brokers, chartered accountants. आइए मैं आपको एक कहानी सुनाता हूँ बेटा. एक दिन की कहानी, एक दिन की बात है. There was a demand of 40 crore rupees to a client who client was to a chartered accountant. Chartered accountant said, "Don't worry, I will deal with the income tax officer." He went to income tax office. During those days, it was not online. Everything was offline. Nowadays, everything is online. Today, now guys, they go in order to eradicate the corruption. What kinds of system is set by this existing government? Now you can't know who is your officer. It's a faceless processing. You can just listen to audio. No names are available. Nothing. कोई name वेम कुछ नहीं. Do you get my point? कोई नाम नहीं, कुछ नहीं. आपको पता नहीं कि कौन है. जब आपको पता नहीं है तो who is the guy? How can you offer the bribe? इनकम टैक्स में 50-50 लाख के ब्राइब जाते हैं. ओ रिकॉर्ड हो रहा है, सॉरी. ये वायरल मत कर देना कैसे भी करके, ठीक है, छोड़ो. My point is, I got that notice. I went to income tax officer. Do you know generally what first question officers are asking? Give the authority letter. क्या पूछते हैं? What is the authority letter? I don't know guys whether you have ever heard these things or not, but when you go to the court सबसे पहले वकालतनामा मांगते हैं आपसे. वकालतनामा पता है? That means client is giving you the authority that you can present the arguments on my behalf. That's nothing but the authority letter. Guys, if that authority letter or is missing, that affidavit is missing, whatever you speak in the court, it will not be recognized as spoken by the client. So guys, if my client is giving me authority letter that you are freely allowed to speak and give the arguments on my behalf, then and only then the income tax officer can make client liable for my expenses. I hope I'm clear. So that authority letter, what is signed by my client to me on the stamp paper of the 200 rupees, that's nothing but the assignment. उसको हम क्या बोलते हैं? The right to represent is assigned. Liability. अब अगर मान नहीं हो तो I have represented my client, but income tax officer couldn't get convinced. Who needs to pay the money? Me or my client? तो क्या साबित हुआ इससे? The rights are transferred in the assignment, and what's not transferred? However, I don't want to dig down in assignment because if I want to, I have to go with the power of attorney. We have the two types of power of attorney, general and specific. General and, but वो क्या है? वो आप खुद ढूंढ लीजिए. I don't want to tell you that. So, okay, that's all about the law of succession, guys. It was a wonderful theory. I hope today you got enlightened by something. Please, now mind me. आप अपने पेरेंट्स के डेथ के सहभागी नहीं हो. No need to contribute to your parents' death. Yeah, voluntarily if you want, it's fine, but the law doesn't make you to do that. Am I clear to everyone? Yes or no? Fine. Now we are moving towards, guys, no consideration, no contract. So have you understood these things? This example clear? However, under section 25, this rule has certain exceptions. And now we are moving towards those exceptions, and that's the last topic as far as the consideration topic is concerned. Am I clear? After that, my plan is to start that offer and acceptance concept. But of free consent, I have already started in many batches BCom, तो हो सकता है BCom में डिटेल में करवाऊंगा आप लोगों को, तो वहाँ पे भी आप देख लेना. I don't think so मुझे यहाँ पे करवाने की जरूरत है. BCom में आप अटेंशन वैसे पे कर रहे हो तो डबल तो वैसे करना है, और वैसे भी आप सितंबर वाले हो. Am I clear?
This is also an exception, right? This is also an exception here, right? No consideration of contract.
अरे भाई एक्सेप्शन नहीं होता है और भी ठीक है चलो एक्सेप्शन पे जाते हैं बच्चों राइट इफ यू वांट टू these are certain exceptions and एग्जाम में कई बार क्वेश्चन आती है आई थिंक आई शुड डू दैट इन द क्लास चलो जल्दी से देख लो उसको एक काम करते हैं बेटा ऑफर एक्सेप्टेंस बाद में करते पहले जनरल कॉन्सेप्ट्स पढ़ लेते हैं वी हैव लॉट ऑफ जस्ट लाइक अ लॉ ऑफ सक्सेशन on that basis they are asking good questions so I use some other contractual important topics some of you might know joint promises you might have heard about okay payment appropriation is there उसके बाद एक लॉस मेकिंग का आएगा मीन्स लाइक इफ देयर इज अ लॉस हाउ टू कैलकुलेट द लॉसेस आर यू लायबल देन हाउ यू आर लायबल wagering agreement versus contingent contracts so I have certain other points from where they are asking good questions I would do them first are you ready offer acceptance tomorrow we have I will do over discharge of the contract आप खुद कर लेना बेटा वो सिर्फ एक थ्योरी है ज़्यादा क्वासी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट आई ऑलरेडी डन द क्वेश्चन दो टॉपिक हो गया ठीक है जल्दी से उसको सम अप करेंगे यहाँ पे सो गाइस नो consideration is equal to no contract but this rule has certain exceptions here first write down guys natural love and affection natural love and affection during become I did ask a question. There's a father who promised the daughter that on your birthday I will give 5 lakhs. I think in every batch I did this question, right?
Yes, sir.
But on the birthday, what if father failed to pay? Does daughter have right to file case on the father?
No.
बताओ Why? It is just that social aspect, all that things. Answer to this question is yes, you can. ये सही आंसर है ये सही आंसर है मार्क दिस टॉपिक इज 5 स्टार्स मैं जानता हूं आप मेरे को क्या पागल हो गया उधर कुछ और पढ़ा इधर कुछ और पढ़ा ऐसा नहीं बता दो okay did you get the question now what is the question father promised to pay 5 lakhs on the birthday but didn't pay does the daughter have right to file the suit guys look due to many reasons this transaction altogether doesn't fall in the category of the contract first of all social agreement second most important absence of consideration but still my answer is it is enforceable why simple if it follows under section 25 if it follows under which section which are 25 then this transaction is enforceable section 25 puts certain conditions क्या डालता है वो conditions if all these conditions are satisfied even though there is no consideration still it will be considered as a contract this is why I have taken this as what exception to the principle now as a student your duty is only one like what are those conditions you have to know anyone can tell me अगर आपने कुछ पढ़ा हो याद what are those conditions I think Lakshmi has yes first that's the first condition other
That's a close relationship between you.
second
It must be written in the
third एक और बाकी है 3 कंडीशन आ गई चलो मैं बता देता हूँ बेटा I think Kanika tried to but I won't repeat that first the agreement must have to be in writing बेटा क्या होना चाहिए If father is given in writing, फंस गए father, समझ लो. Second, my dear student, this writing must have to be having with the close relative. You should be in close relation. So please try to understand, one friend if giving in writing to other friend, friendship is not considered as close relation. Please try to understand. Husband, wife, son, daughter, brother, sister, mother, father. These are known as what? So I will say some blood lineage should be there. Blood link should be there. I hope I am clear. Close relation, not only relation. मेरी मासी की बुआ की लड़की का लड़का उसका भी चाचा, ऐसे नहीं. Close relation होना चाहिए. Am I clear? Third, there must have existence of love and affection. Existence of what? Love and affection. अब ये क्या बात है? Generally what happens, husband and wife is considered as in close relation. But what if since last 2 years they are not talking to each other? Even though contract like agreement was in writing, even though they are in close relation, but what is absent? Love. Why since last 2 years you are not in talking terms? किस बात का love है? Is it possible in the society that a son doesn't have answer talking terms with the parents in such 5 years, 10 years? मैंने लोगों को देखा, मैंने उनको कंसोल किया है. उन्होंने कहा मेरी माँ ने ऐसा किया, पिछले 5 साल से मैं और मेरी माँ नहीं बोल रहे हैं. Are you getting my point? So if it is proved that you had a close relation but love and affection wasn't there, then condition is failed. It's not lawful. And the fourth one is it must have to be registered. क्या होना चाहिए? When I say registration of the document, I have just only 2 conditions. पहले तो stamp paper पे होना चाहिए. कहाँ पे होना चाहिए बच्चा? Stamp paper पे. And second, guys, it must have to be notarized. क्या होना चाहिए? As soon as you notarize with the notary public, it becomes registered. And notary का नाम सुना है? Notary नहीं पता. Rent agreement must have to be notarized. एक senior lawyers होते हैं, court gives them license to register the documents. Register the documents. Rent agreement. Because let's say there's a dispute between owner and the tenant. How will you prove the terms and conditions are real? So you say I have the rent agreement, but how will you this rent agreement is not fabricated? So third party needs to give a witness. अरे बोलो विटनेस. और वो विटनेस कौन है? वो विटनेस नहीं जो साइन करेंगे. Witness is you both of you along with your Aadhaar card go to notary public. He is a person who is licensed to register the document. He will read the entire rent agreement. He will take one copy and in your both of presence he will make you to sign his register. You sign, you sign. So ultimately both of you are confirming what? That this rent agreement what I have presented to notary public. किसका क्लास है अभी? मौलवी सर. You got my point? So now you understand if there is a question that whether the rent agreement is real or fake, court will call notary public to give the testimony. And his testimony would be considered as evidence in the eyes of law. क्या माना जाएगा? वो जो कहेगा वही सत्य है. What you both are saying, court will not consider. So this is the third check on the documents to just avoid I would say the legal disparities. Make sense or not? So guys, we have to notarize this thing. So stamp plus notary is equal to what? Registration. When all these 4 conditions are satisfied, then and only then promise given by father is legally obligated. And you deserve the right to file the suit against the father. So this time when a father promises, I will give 5 lakhs on your birthday, have a good smile on your face and say, Papa, give in writing. अगर writing में दे दिया बच्चा under his signature and you got it registered, पापा की प्रॉपर्टी कॉन्फिस्केट करवा सकते हो. उतना पावर आ जाएगा. क्या मेरी बात समझ में आ रहे हो? You know what in Hindi, I don't know whether you have ever just heard this dialogue or not. Whenever sometimes there's some पूरा commitment, वो बोलते हैं स्टैम्प पेपर पर लिख के दो। ऐसा आई डोंट नो इसको डायलॉग ऐसे सरकाज़म में आपने पढ़ा है देखा है? यहाँ से किसको डाउट था? किसी डाउट था? यहाँ पे किसने ऐसे किया था अभी? हाँ, अच्छा वर्ड है नोटराइज्ड, NOTARISCT। हाँ, आदि बताओ।
Sir, could you repeat what is registered?
Registered means registered in the register of the notary. Notary is a license holder who obtains the license from the court to register the documents. मतलब एक थर्ड चेक है, आप उसको कॉपी दो कि भाई ये मेरे को रजिस्टर करना है, तो एक कॉपी वो अपने पास रख लेगा, आपकी भी साइन लेगा, दूसरे पार्टी की भी साइन लेगा। अब मान लो बाद में आपका जो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है वो खो गया, कुछ नहीं, तो नोटरी पब्लिक कंफर्म करेगा कि हाँ मेरे पास ये कॉपी है, ये सही है। तो समझो थर्ड विटनेस आ गया जिसने कोर्ट में और पक्का एविडेंस की तरह आप पेश कर सकते हो। तो गाइस अगर कोई कॉन्ट्रैक्ट हुआ है और अगर वो नोटराइज हो गया होगा तो वो एक सॉलिड एविडेंस बनेगा। क्या मेरी बात समझ में आ रही है? दिस ऑर्डर okay my dear students, so that is I would say section 25 subsection 1, that when in love and affection. But I tell you all the repetition of those four conditions. Writing, registered, you must to be in close relations, and there should have existence of other than yourself. Any one of the conditions is missing, guys, contract is not enforceable. Am I clear? Now I would like to go to the point number 2, and it talks about time barred debt. I'm giving you guys 30 seconds to think about whether you know. Actually, the words goes like this: promise to pay time barred debt. That one is promise to pay time barred debt. Okay, have you thought of this? चलो गूगल कर दिया, बता दो। Time barred debt. Okay, guys. Before I go to the time barred debt concept and then the promise to go for the time barred debt, you have to understand one law called the law of limitation. मेरे क्लास में हिंसा अलाउड नहीं है भाई। Anyone wants to say what is time barred debt? Lakshmi. Correct. So what happens now? Expired. Why? Fine. Actually, what happens in this country, we have the law of limitation types. First of all, we have to understand that if you want to get a justice, what's the first condition? First condition is you have to demand the justice. अगर आपने जस्टिस डिमांड नहीं किया, कोर्ट सामने से जस्टिस नहीं मिलेगा. So if you don't claim the compensation, don't think so that court will give the compensation. Am I clear? चलो उसके लिए एक चीज बता देते हैं. तो what happens? You tell me. Do you really think you have infinite time to pray for justice? Assume today you filed the case that so and so fellow did not pay my 5 crores. Is it injustice to you or not? Assume you sold 5 crore rupees goods to some fellow, he didn't pay to you, and now you have filed the case to the court stating that that fellow didn't pay my 5 crores. Court is just asking the question, this is the matter of how much old? And you say it's 35 years back. But a contract कब हुआ था? 35 years back, and now you awaken and you thought that I want my money back because now I badly need this. What do you think? Do you really think so that court should consider even your application? But 35 years of your life you waited. In 1963, along with the Specific Relief Act, they introduced the Limitation Act, and I consider this as a law of limitation. And I like that part where they have mentioned that for certain transactions, if you want justice, you have to file the case within time. Within kya? And guys, if the deadline or the time is lapsed, you can't initiate legal action, guys. Please try to understand what is the time given for the normal suits, compensation, where immovable assets are not involved. So there are two types of transactions classified. Transactions where immovable assets are involved, and second, transactions where immovable assets are not involved. Guys, transactions where immovable assets are not involved and you have injustice, within maximum 3 years you can file the legal action. Assume I have given you the loan. You're supposed to pay me after 2 years. Credit period expired. From the expiry of that credit period, within what time I have to go to police station or court to file the case?
3 years.
Guys, as soon as those 3 years expired, I have lost my right to file the case, guys. Guys, you didn't get me. Let me tell you now the fact. You took the loan from the bank amounting 5 crores. No security, nothing. The promise was paying that 5 crores after 3 years. 3 years expired. Bank kept on asking Mr. Chirag, when are you paying? When are you paying? I said, I don't have money. Bank filed a case against me after 5 years of those 3 years. So 3 years credit period expired. After that, bank waited for how many years? 5 years, and now new manager comes, just looked at the matter and filed the case. Guys, explain me the legal validity of the case filed by the bank, guys. Is it valid or invalid? But I have to say it is now bad by time. The 5 crore rupees debt is bad by the time, limited by the time restriction. I have to say, but bank deserve nothing, my dear student. Zero. Even the bank files the case on me, I have a solid argument. Bank lost the right to file case against me because whatever time was given by the law, whatever time had been given by the law, it is lapsed. It becomes time barred debt. Time barred debt का मतलब है the debt on which you cannot initiate legal action. So ultimately, it is as good as like what? Bad debt. Even though you are not insolvent, but still it becomes what? So guys, what lesson you have learned today in this classroom? If you have paid, if you have given loan or goods to someone, and really you want to initiate a legal action, please do it within what? 3 years from the expiry of the credit term. So अगर नहीं किया, बाद में चाह के भी नहीं करना. But the example what I have given here, it is just for other than immovable. Other than immovable. What if the matters are related to immovable aspects? In fact, I have one case here. I stay in JP Nagar. In JP Nagar, my father's one friend, actually, his name is Vitthal Kaka. We call him as a Vitthal Kaka. He told me a story. उसने कहा चिराग तू सीए है ना, जरा इसके बारे में बता कि मैंने कहा क्या होगा. Sometimes, the builder of the building and residents have a joint development agreement. Builder has a land. Builder has a land. Like plain land. Individually, let's say you all want to buy the apartment on that land. So what I will do, you give me 50 lakhs rupees advance. I will construct what? Some floors and houses and apartments on that land. My land. And I promise to give you one apartment against those 50 lakhs. And whatever is left over, I will keep for myself. How is the agreement? So every one of you started paying 50 lakhs rupees to builder. Builder started the construction after completing 30 to 35% construction. He took all the remaining money and ran away. A problem समझो बेटा. Still, who is owning the land? Builder. The land किसके नाम पे है? Now the things is those apartments are incomplete. Apartments are. But just imagine walls are not properly constructed. अभी सिर्फ bricks रखी है, plaster नहीं लगा. So you can't go and stay there. But 50 lakhs rupees what you paid in advance are confiscated. In this case, my dear student, it's a crime. It's called the fraud. क्या बोलते हैं? So go to police station and file the complaint under 420. But that's a criminal charges. What else you can do? चलो एक बात बताओ. What else you can do? If you want to own those apartments, what else you can do? Your builder took the money and flies. Tell me what you can do. Let me tell you, bacha. In immovable property, the law of limitation is applicable as soon as 12 years expires. कितना? 12 years. So there is any property dispute and you have not initiated the legal action since last, then court will not hear any property dispute. Guys, mark my words. So my suggestion to them is already the man left. I don't think so in some couple of next 10 to 15 years he will come back to Bangalore. आज तो मार खाएंगे. अरे बोलो. आपको क्या करना है? आइए आज आपको एक oh my god एक स्कैम सिखाता हूँ. लीगल स्कैम कैसे. You want to know that? अगर किसी की प्रॉपर्टी है, अगर किसी की आपकी नहीं है, किसी और की प्रॉपर्टी है, but nobody is there to look after. You need to do just one thing: open the lock, go inside and start staying. This is called possession, occupied possession. I know it's unlawful possession. अरे हाँ है ना? Legally it's a defective title. And you promise me you will not misuse this. आप सब अच्छे हो. आपको possession लेना है and you have to stay there. Start paying those municipal taxes and all that. Anyhow, try to show off that your presence is there and stay there for 12 years. कितना? Guys, after 12 years, even the owner wants to file case against you, then vacate my property. Guys, in India, वही तो मैंने आपको समझाया था. In India, ownership possession based होती है, document based नहीं है बच्चा. अगर किसी बंदे ने आपकी प्रॉपर्टी बैक टू बैक 12 साल यूज की, कितना? Then you lose, my dear student, right to file the case, and that is only the reason why we renew the rent agreement once after 11 months. Do you know that? Oh my God, I don't know. 11 महीनों के बाद renew करवाते. If any tenant is staying back to back for 12 years in your property, then you can't legally make him vacate, my dear students. हाँ, आप renewal करते रहो, तो problem नहीं. If you renew, that means you are showing your position over that. ये आपका position नहीं है. But I request guys, after 3 or 4 years, make your tenant to vacate. Don't allow the long hold. You don't know guys, but in Delhi, Mumbai, there are a lot of old constructions where the tenant has literally occupied. In Mumbai, guys, finding the new home is all the times difficult. इन दोनों का अलग ही चलता है. लॉ कुछ ज़्यादा ही पढ़ लिया है. ठीक, चलो आगे. Am I clear? So, okay, my dear students, have you understood what do you mean by the time bar debt? So time bar debt means the debt which is, I would say, limited by law. Limited by law means now the time is expired and you don't have any legal remedy against that. So that becomes what? Time bar. So you don't have right to initiate the legal action, but try to understand, other than immovable 3 years, immovable property 12 years, guys. So fine. But what is the point here? Now try to understand. X has sold goods to Y for 30 crores for 6 months credit. It is almost 4 years. Y didn't pay. X wants to file a case on Y. Tell me, my student, will he get the success or not? X wants to file the case on Y after 4 years of this debt completed. Okay, will he succeed or not? No. The reason is now this debt becomes what? अरे पागल 6 महीने हो गए, 4 साल के बाद कर रहा है यार. तो 6 महीने के एक्सपायर के बाद और कितने साल चले गए? 3.5 years. 3 साल के बाद अब लीगल एक्शन नहीं ले सकते. So this debt in my example is what? Time bar. But now your financial condition is damn bad. But still the court of this country will not help you because you have already violated the time what was permitted by the court. So what you did is, like, after 4 years you went to Y. So X is the seller, Y is the buyer, right? After this thing, seller goes to Y and says, and touches the feet, "Bhai, please, kuch paise de de. I want some money. Look, when I was rich, I didn't initiate any action. Now my children, my wife, my family is starving for the food. Please, I beg. Please give me my money." The moment, the way you just actually requested, why got sympathized and he promised again. He promised again. Please try to understand. He promised again that, okay, I will pay you 30 crores in time. So this is what I am saying. Already it was a time barred debt, but due to a lot of prayers, why again requesting? Sorry, why again? Allowing that, okay, I will pay you 30 crores. So can I say, why has promised to pay what kind of debt? Time barred debt. Now tell me guys, this promise is with consideration or without consideration? I'm going to try to understand. As soon as the 3 years lapsed, Y is discharged from liability. So guys, as far as the other than immovable property is concerned, any contractual liability has how much life? How much life it has? Only 3 years. 3 years lapsed, obligation gone. क्या मेरी बात समझ में आई? तो any contract what you make as far as the financial burden is concerned, your liability is sustained only for the 3 years. 3 years lapsed, guys, it becomes what kind of debt? It becomes the time bar debt. But in this example, what's happening, my dear student? Okay, so ultimately what is got proved? Why didn't have any legal obligation? Because of the lapsing of this 4 years. Even though he did not have any obligations, still he promises. So guys, any promises made without having any obligation, that's called without consideration. If he promises again, can X file the case on Y now? Already time, but again he promises that I will pay you 30 crores. Those were yes, sorry, it was my mistake. Can now X legally enforce that debt against Mr. Y or not? The answer to that question is no, we cannot. Because understand, we are learning guys now section 25. Again, just like the law of affection, there are certain conditions, guys. Until and unless those conditions are satisfied, you cannot go ahead. Only 2 conditions are there. First, the debt must have to be time barred. क्या होना चाहिए बच्चा?
Time barred.
Time barred. Why it should be time barred? Because all those which are regular debts, you don't need to commit. You are already running into obligations. And second, what the law says is that it should have to be in writing and signed by the person. So please try to understand, registration is not compulsory here. So what is the fundamental difference between time bar debt and the love and affection? In the love and affection, it should be writing, sign plus registration. But in time bar debt, if the person given a plain paper, just a plain paper under signature, okay, I promise to pay those debts again, guys, obligation revives. And again, it will be extended for the next 3 years. So within these 3 years, guys, again you got a chance. Please initiate the legal action. वरना मारेगा. क्या बेटा तुम बात समझ रहे हो? समझ में आया? So guys, this is the time part that third. Okay. Any doubts to this? Okay. After that, now we're moving towards the next exceptions, which talks about law of agency or contract of agency, guys. Contract of agency. Contract of agency. Contract of agency is such a thing which is not based on any consideration. Even the absence of, for example, partnership. Do you know what in partnership people agree profit sharing of only if it is available. They also agree to share the losses also only if it is available. But that's not compulsion that profit will pakka be given. Yes or no? Is there compulsion that profit must have to be given? No. So even though, my dear student, the consideration is not sure to execute, in the absence of that, partnership is possible. And partnership is nothing but mutual agency, and mutual agency is nothing but law of agency. So learning the Indian Partnership Act, ultimately you are learning the law of agency. I hope I am clear. Other is the bailment. Bailment may be either with consideration. भाई मैंने समझाया था ये. बेलमेंट पता है? अर्पिता और स्तुति. अर्पिता कौन है? अरे डॉगी पपी यात्रा के लिए गए थे. आप अपना गुड्स किसी और को दे देते हो और जब वापस आओ रिटर्न ले लोगे, वो बेलमेंट है. Bailment may be with consideration, without consideration. The next is the bailment. Last one, which is little bit technical, is the completed gift. क्या है? Completed gift. चलो बेटा ये याद रखना. What do you mean by here the term for the completed gift? I have a example here. Assume one boyfriend and girlfriend, they were in relation. Suddenly there is a dispute. Dispute resulted into breakup. Boy got furious. He goes to a girl and says that whatever gifts I gave you in last 3 years, I want them back. Total cost is coming around 10 lakhs. I want them back. Girl बोली नहीं दिया तो I will file case. I will file case. Are you under obligation to give them back? And boy's answer is, look, I was not legally obligated to pay anything. Whatever I paid, that was in absence of consideration. I gave gift, what in return she has given? Nothing. So this contract was void because no consideration, no contract. So if I pay something without obligation, at the end of the day, I need it back. I want my all gifts back. Same with the same example, but in the different context. You paid 5 lakhs rupees donation to Tirupati Balaji, and now you want to get them back. And your argument is, it was not my legal obligation. I did it by mistake. I did it by मुझे मेरे पैसे वापस चाहिए. So guys, paid donations and already gifts what you have given, will it be taken back or not? So please try to understand in both of these cases, the transactions initiated without consideration. Make sense or not? Transactions initiated with consideration or without consideration? Without consideration. But please try to understand there are two situations. Promise to give donations and already paid donations. Promise to give gifts and second is already given gifts. Comparatively, which one is completed in nature? Already paid donations, completed donations, already given and forwarded gifts, completed gifts. So please, my dear students, law is trying to say only one thing, that if any donations had been given, even though without consideration, will not be reversed. So even though consideration was absent, still they are legally enforceable. That means now you cannot get back, stating that I didn't have any obligations. Same way, guys, gifts once given cannot be returned back. But I have given you one example, which is the last one in my entire discussion. Suppose I promised to pay, I think Deepak was the case, right? Deepak promised to pay 5 lakhs to the trustees because he is the devotee of Lord Krishna. But when trustees came there to demand, Deepak said, I don't want to pay. Can trustees force him to pay? Answer is no. Reason kya hai? It is not completed donation. It is just yet to be given. Yes or no? But this rule has one small exception. Let me just modify this question. And this question I think is in one of the MTPs में ये question था. तो जरा गौर कीजिएगा. What if Deepak promised to pay 5 lakhs? Based on that, trustees bought 2 lakhs rupees goods on credit, cement, sand, bricks, and used them to construct what? But you understand, trustees wouldn't have gone. Actually, in the meeting it was discussion that we don't have funds, I think we should stop it. And suddenly Deepak promised, I will pay 5 lakhs. So now we have a hope that by anyhow, Deepak is paying us how much? Let's just buy some goods on credit. By the way, Deepak is going to pay us. So based on that promise, that administration bought 2 lakhs rupees liability. Now I explain Deepak's liability in this case. Is he still liable to pay 5 lakhs or is not liable to pay 5 lakhs? Is he liable to pay 5 lakhs or not liable to pay 5 lakhs? Now please try to understand, actually no consideration, no contract, he just promised but didn't pay yet. And therefore is not liable to pay 5 lakhs but is liable to the extent of liability incurred based on this promise. So guys, if you are promised to give donations, even though not in writing, or the gifts, even though not in writing, and based on that, if somebody has incurred some liability, to the extent of the liability incurred, you are liable. Make sense or not? Make sense or not? So completed gifts and incurring the liability based on the promises of donations, in both the cases, guys, even though no consideration, the persons are liable. Persons are liable. So guys, that's what all about I wanted to discuss about lawful consideration. क्या मेरी बात समझ में आई आप लोगों को? Agency benefit. Agency benefit. Charity. Donations charity तो है बेटा. Donation क्या है? Charity तो है. So what principles apply on donations? Same apply. Promise to give charity. Not I would say enforceable things. But already you have incurred the charity, later on you can't get it back because it counts under completed things. Okay?